Welcome to Protect and Grow with Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns of TJ Stearns Incorporated. Trust, respect, and results. TJ Stearns Incorporated focuses on comprehensive financial planning and benefits.
And welcome into the program. This is Protect and Grow Chicagoland Retirement with Chicagoland's certified financial planning professional. He is Tim Stearns, CFP. If you have questions or concerns about your money, your investments, your financial and retirement planning future, he is your resource with a common sense approach to planning, providing us perspective and guidance on the complexities of the financial and economic world, as well as what you need to be doing to make the most out of each and every dollar. Tim Stearns here with us as always. And Tim, we appreciate the time that you provide. Going to be talking about 6 retirement myths on today's program.
Hey, Peter, thanks for having me. I think there's a lot of people out there that have misconceptions, and they're kind of coming to roost now because, the market's been down, inflation's been high, all the perfect storm, if you will. So it's good to kind of bring this thing out and talk about the 6 myths about retirement.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into that, if you've got questions or concerns of your own, if you would like to request a time for some experienced, qualified, professional perspective on your money, your investments, and your retirement portfolio, don't forget that Tim does offer the opportunity for a complimentary review and retirement planning strategy session. All you need to do to take advantage is pick up the phone and give a call, 800-640-2256. That is 800-640-2256 to request the time to put together your Protect and Grow retirement plan, along with the help of Tim Stearns, CFP. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. So before we get into the myths, Tim, just kind of a general introduction. If our financial future relies on things that may or may not hold true, or that we can't necessarily count or rely on, wouldn't we want to know that and carefully examine those issues?
Well, in this case, yes. I mean, ignorance is not bliss, not knowing what these things are, and kind of demystifying them, if you will, and making sure that people understand them. So let's launch into it. Myth number 1, people saying, I'll live off my Social Security income. The problem with that is that when Social Security was started back in the 30s, it was actually brought out to say that it would be about 40% of our income. And unfortunately, you do know people that are literally living off that. The average right now check per month is about $1,657. So that's $19,900. And in Chicagoland, I know that wouldn't cut it for us. We need a lot more money than that.
No, I, in fact, Tim, believe that Social Security is meant to keep the average recipient just above the poverty level. And for most listeners, that's not going to replace nearly what it takes to cover lifestyle. And in fact, for the average recipient at this point in time, probably not even keeping us above that poverty level.
That's exactly right. And more importantly, you're relying on the government for your well-being. What did Ron Reagan say? I'm here. The worst phrase you want to hear from someone is, I'm here from the government to help you. So that being said, I don't want to be relying on Congress or any legislator as to what it looks like that I'll get in Social Security. More importantly, what increases I'll get. We had last year we had a 5.9% increase in Social Security, and that was completely wiped out by what they increased Medicare. And the Medicare increase was actually for an Alzheimer's drug. Whether you were on it or not, they increased it across the board. So this year we're seeing Medicare go down just a smidge, right? And Social Security went up quite a bit. That's going to keep up with inflation, which is great, but I wouldn't get used to this.
Yeah. Well, Tim, the myth that I'll live off of Social Security income alone, while we don't want people to fall into that belief, we also want to stress and emphasize Social Security can be a very valuable and sizable component of your overall retirement picture. And you actually spend a lot of time with your clients and radio show listeners in trying to understand all of the nuances of Social Security and make the most of it.
Well, and you're talking about a Social Security optimization report that we run. Just on Friday, I ran one for a couple that was thinking about doing it a certain way. And we pointed out to them that they're going to be leaving a lot of money on the table and they didn't need to churn on so early because there was an age gap between the husband and wife. That being said, you won't know that unless you do that. And if your advisor hasn't helped you out with your Social Security, when you should be turning it on versus not turning it on, give us a call. We'll be happy to do a Social Security optimization report. It's worth every piece of paper it's printed on, and it tells people kind of the right answers.
That is part of the Protect and Grow plan, ladies and gentlemen. Optimizing Social Security, the Social Security optimization report, show you the different combinations, the timing strategies that may be available to you and how to make the most out of your Social Security income. Again, just part of that Protect and Grow financial and retirement plan, the written retirement income plan component of the Protect and Grow plan. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. One more point on this myth, Tim. You have seen a difference in several hundreds of thousands of dollars over kind of average life expectancy when running that Social Security optimization report.
This is how we look at it. If you have to churn out Social Security at age 62 because you just don't feel like you have enough money or you're not going to be able to function in society, that's one thing. But if you're just doing it because it's, to you a money grab, I put the money in there, I want to get it right back out. We have to keep in mind that you're going to only receive 75% of what your full retirement amount would have been for the rest of your life. It's not like they retro it back to when you finally do churn your full retirement age that they'll move it up. It's going to be 75% of that forever. So we need to be, cognizant of that. You're going to be leaving a lot of money on the table if you go early, but one will never know unless they do a Social Security optimization report.
All right. Moving through our list here of the 6 retirement planning myths. Number 2, Tim, while the match on our 401k is a fantastic thing not to be overlooked, try to capture it. The myth here is if we invest only up to the match, that we'll have enough to retire. And this is another one that we should carefully examine.
Well, the rule of thumb over the years has been to invest at least 15% of your income into it. So if you're doing that up to the match, that's one thing. Maybe you step out of that and go into an IRA or something like that. And if you're able to, even doing a Roth IRA would be great too. But either way, we recommend about 15% of your income, so that you're investing beyond the match. But maybe you do something where, if you're under 59 and a half, the ability to put money in something that you can kind of control is not the worst idea, right? Because it opens up your world to beyond what they're offering at your company. So I love the match, do it up to that. But after that, maybe you look at IRAs, and we do that for our clients to kind of put something into effect, like a IRA that has a stop loss. It has diversification. It's using active money management versus most mutual funds. We kind of see they're kind of a buy and hold, which we don't believe in our company. You need to be tactical in this, especially in this crazy market that we've been living the last 11 months.
Yeah, I think where companies do offer a match, Tim, it's typically like 3, 4, 5, 6%, maybe 50 cents on the dollar, maybe it's 100% match, but that does not constitute everything we're going to likely need for retirement. And I've thought and reflected on this, pretending that we work a 30-year career and pretending that we earn the same amount during the entirety of that career, which doesn't happen. We end up earning more throughout the years, but just pretending that we earned the same amount every year over 30 years. If we save 10% per year by the end of a 30-year career, we have only saved 3 years worth of the income that we are used to living off of. It's kind of a scary thought. And of course, we expect some investment returns and growth on that money over that time, but retirement is significantly longer than that. So we need to save as much as possible. Your benchmark then is that 15%?
Yes, we feel like that's a safe number to put a bedrock of what you're going to need in retirement. Of course, if you're later or you're in your 50s or even later, something you might want to look at doing is a actual report as to where you're at, where versus what you need to do. Do you and your spouse need to step it up? A lot of people kind of, don't realize that after the match, they could be doing other things, or they just don't want to. But if they do a plan, guess what? They start to figure out, man, I needed more than I thought. So we help people with that, and that's what we're happy to do.
And that Protect and Grow written retirement income plan, Tim, can be done 5, 10, 15 years out from retirement to know if we're on track or not, correct?
Absolutely. It's more than a back of the napkin, envelope, whatever you want to use as the analogy. To do it, we actually get into the brass tacks of what is going on in your life. It's interesting at our retirement classes, we always have people saying, well, isn't it true I'll be in a lower tax bracket when I retire? And this is right after I've asked, where do you think taxes are going? And everyone gives me a thumbs up that the taxes are going to go up. So even if you are going to be spending the same amount of money that you're currently spending, needing that amount of money, if taxes go up, well, then that's kind of a moot point, right? So you're going to need to put more away for that rainy day, which we call retirement.
Yeah. So answering the big questions, ladies and gentlemen, how much do I need to retire? Do I have enough saved? Am I on track? That is what that Protect and Grow written retirement income plan aims to help you have a confident answer for. If you would like to put that together with the help and the assistance of Tim Stearns, CFP, pick up the phone and give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. One more question on this one, Tim. Does the match count? Is it included in that 15%, or should we be doing the 15% ourselves and then looking at the match as sort of icing on the cake over and above what we reasonably should be doing?
Well, the simple answer there is more is better, right? Because God knows where inflation is going to be. We don't know what things are going to cost down the road. I mean, yes, they're trying to get it under control right now, but how long is that going to take? So yes, I don't count that in there. I think it's above and beyond that to make sure that we have enough in retirement. The last thing you want to do is find out when you're 80 years old that you needed more money. And the reason being is that, what are you going to do then? Go back to work, and you don't want to be beholden to the government, and you definitely don't want to be living with your children or relatives because you were a poor saver.
Again, why you need to know that you are on track. Do you have enough? Are you doing the things that you need to save all that you can? How much do you need for retirement? Answered by the Protect and Grow written retirement income plan. Those questions are addressed. Pick up the phone, give Tim Stearns, CFP, a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. And Tim, because you mentioned the Roth, one last thought on that. A lot more people do have options for Roths inside of their 401k these days. I've heard a lot of confusion about this, that people believe if they choose Roth, the company will not match. That is not the case. The company will still match. They don't care if you choose traditional or Roth. They still will match. It's just that they won't pay your taxes for you if you choose Roth. Their contribution, just like it would be with the traditional, either side you choose to put your money on is always going to be tax deferred. They're nice enough to offer the match, not nice enough to pay your taxes for you.
Right. So if you're doing it, you're doing a Roth side, which I tell most of my clients to do. A Roth 401k can be amazing down the road because you can put so much into it. But the other side of the coin is that if they're doing profit sharing to you, up to a certain amount of your salary, that is going to be on the taxable side when you pull it out. And a lot of people don't understand that, so we make sure that they do. But a Roth 401k can be excellent. It's a lot better than just putting money in a Roth IRA standalone. Plus, there's no income limits.
Fantastic opportunities for you to do more with your retirement dollars, ladies and gentlemen, and to make sure that you know what each and every one of those dollars is doing for you. What is the end result going to look like? How are you making progress toward those retirement goals? That's what the Protect and Grow Written Retirement Income Plan is all about. Pick up the phone and give Tim Stearns, CFP, a call. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. This next one I sort of chuckled at, Tim. It's I guess a little ironic. Myth number 3, I'll work through retirement. Doesn't actually sound like much of a retirement to me anyway.
Well, no, it does not sound like a retirement. I mean, 70% of workers out there say that they're going to do something. They're going to be plan on working during their retirement years, whether that's being a starter at a golf course or a Walmart greeter, what have you, but just 27% of retirees end up actually working. Okay. So that being said, you need to figure out, I would plan for when you are retired, you are totally retired. And anything above and beyond that is gravy, that you're actually getting the money that you didn't plan that you're going to have. And that comes into play again with an income allocation plan. You need to have a plan. Failure to have one is having a plan that you're just going to try to, do your best in retirement. So, I find that pretty interesting that a lot of people, I'm going to work, and they end up not doing it. I have a sibling that was planning on that, and now he's a super grandpa to his grandkids, helping out and with my sister-in-law. So these things kind of go by the wayside depending on what life gives you. And as we know, life is very dynamic.
3 more, and for the sake of time, we'll move right through them. Number 4, Tim, Medicare will cover my medical expenses in retirement. Myth number 4.
Right. And Medicare will cover a lot of things, right? But the average 65-year-old couple will need about $360,000 for healthcare expenses in retirement, even when they have Medicare. So, and then not only that, but if you're 65, you have a 7 out of 10 chance that you're going to need long-term care. And some people have the misconception that Medicare will help with your long-term care. That is not a thing. So you need to be careful what you're planning on. So there again, you want to start to put money away, knowing for that rainy day that you might need money for medical expenses and that type of thing.
Now, Medicare, a fantastic benefit for those 65 and above. I guess the emphasis here, Tim, is that it is not going to cover 100% of everything. And for those expenses that it is not going to cover, we need to understand and budget accordingly.
Right. So you need to understand exactly what the costs are out there. There's a new phenomenon going out there. They call it the smiley face of retirement, which the smiley face starts up top where you're, spending a lot of money, maybe on different things like taking those trips you never got to do with your wife. Then you come down and it comes back up. And that is, what are you spending more money on down the road as you get older? Unfortunately, a lot of times it's medical expenses. So we need to be careful. With open enrollment every year, when we have our clients come in and we go over everything with them, we make sure that, whatever the plan they were on is still covering any old or new medications that they're getting, because, the last thing you want to do is find out that medication that you used to be able to be on is now not covered based on something that changed out of your hands. So we do all that for our clients. And I would tell anyone that's worried about Medicare costs and that type of thing, come see us and we'll get into it and dig into what they need.
And how to protect against potential medical health care, long-term care related expenses in the future. That's all worked into and incorporated in the Protect and Grow plan, ladies and gentlemen. And really, regardless of your asset size, this is the elephant in the room that must be addressed. You got to understand and know what and be able to identify your plan and your approach and your potential exposure to these expenses into and throughout retirement, how you will plan to address them. Pick up the phone and give Tim Stearns, CFP, a call. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, I like this next one. Gives me a little hope. Myth number 5, it's too late for me to save for retirement. That's a myth. Never too late, right?
It's never too late to be a saver and to put money aside for your future, right? The last thing you want to do is not be that person. So we had a client who was a referral from her sister, and she she's a client to this day, but she would not be with us over and over and over. And we finally asked her, Judy, how come you never wanted to come in? And, well, I was scared that you were going to tell me I didn't have enough. Right. Well, what we did is we actually showed her that, yeah, she had a good start on it, but this is how we could augment it to make it enough to make her retired. And she's been retired over 10 years. So I think, being scared of getting down to the brass tacks of what money you need and what you don't have is scary, but why not get ahead of it and plan?
Final myth on this list, Tim, number 6, I can do it on my own. Now, perhaps we can do more effective planning on our own these days, but you started with a statement that I think specifically pertains to this one is we don't know what we don't know. And oftentimes those are the things that hurt us, Tim.
We're finding in our retirement classes that people that are highly educated are coming into our class thinking that they have it kind of under control, and they're just kind of, crossing their T's, dotting their I's by coming to the class. And they're realizing that, IRMA is out there, which is the Medicare surcharge that can happen for the 2 years previous to you being retired, that can hurt you, making you pay more money into Medicare for your Medicare supplements and that type of thing. So these are the things that I think people are surprised by. I think also some cold water on the face for a lot of people is that we had a 13-year bull market and they thought, oh my gosh, I can just do this all day long in my sleep. And 2022 has taught us a very valuable lesson that it does take someone a little bit better than the average Joe to do retirement the right way and to keep what you've made. Because at the end of the day, in retirement, you are a net seller of assets. The only growth you'll have is what the market does for you. And more than likely, you'll be taking money out. So you don't want to run out of money because you did something that hurt you in another area that you thought had nothing to do with it.
And that's the 6 retirement myths, ladies and gentlemen, at least on this specific list from the article that we were reviewing on today's program with Tim Stearns, CFP. And if you would like to put together that Protect and Grow plan, address these 6 myths and more with the help of a certified financial planning professional, pick up the phone and give Tim Stearns, CFP, a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, I can actually think of several more myths that we only need to replace 70% of our working career income to retire comfortably, that taxes will be lower in retirement, that we can rely on the market to produce this 10% rate of return for us, that we don't need life insurance in retirement. I mean, just several things that I think we've talked about over the course of this program that are sort of commonly held beliefs that we really need to question and examine, because once again, our outcome is only as good as the assumptions our plan is based on. And a lot of these assumptions have really been called into question or been disproven over the last 20 years or so.
Well, I'll give one of them that you said, that we can average 10% in the market. Look at the last 22 years. We talked about this on another show. The last 22 years or 13 years of a bull market, what has the S&P averaged? It was sub 5%. You put in inflation, it was 4.3%. So I would have to say that there's a lot of myths out there, and the last thing you want to do is be believing in something that's completely erroneous and finding out the hard way, which is you've run out of money, or that you have to cut back or scale back or sell your house or what have you. Go see a professional and see if you have a handle on your things. If you do, we'll shake hands and wish you the best. But more than likely, there's something that you're missing, whether it be estate planning, taxation, et cetera, a myth that you believe in, that you're thinking taxes are going to be lower, when 99% of the people in my classes, my retirement classes that we're having throughout the year, are saying, taxes are going up. Someone's going to pay for this federal deficit. So give us a call and come on in and let's take a look at it.
When we hear about financial risk, we often think about the ups and the downs and the volatility of the market. But again, financial risk is really anything that is outside of our control that can impact our outcome. And we've talked about several of those on today's program as we've reviewed these financial myths, ladies and gentlemen. And Tim Stearns, CFP, makes a very valuable offer and opportunity to you. And that is to extend the information on this program into application into your specific situation with helping you design that protect and grow written retirement income plan. If you would like the help and assistance of a certified financial planning professional, Tim Stearns, CFP, in reviewing and evaluating your retirement, your investments, your financial plan for your future, pick up the phone, give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, as so many proactive Chicagoland area savers and investors have done. But Tim, many, many more really need the reassurance of a review, of a double check of that strategy session, and you make that process pretty painless. What's the experience going to be like if somebody gives you a call and requests the time for that protect and grow planning strategy session?
Well, they give us a call. We kind of go over what the nuances are that they're kind of concerned about, and then have them either come in or we do a Zoom like this, that basically is looking at what they think is under control and then what they think is out of control, that they might be able to cover up some areas if they do this, that, and the other thing. Bottom line is, I think doing a plan crystallizes that you do have it under control, and it's just like going to the doctor. No one wants to go to a doctor, but if you go to the doctor and you get a checkup or they give you something for a remedy for what's wrong with you, everything's better, right? So why wouldn't you want to just at least make sure that you're okay? Give us a call and we'll be happy to sit down with people. We don't charge for our time, but I will promise it will be beneficial to them.
At Protect and Grow, written retirement income plan, Chicagoland area savers and investors, proactive planners. The true value of this program is applying the information to your specifics, to your situation, to get more confidence in your planning moving forward. Pick up the phone and give Tim Stearns, CFP, a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, as always, a pleasure.
Thanks, Peter. It's my pleasure, too.
Tune into Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns' full radio program and visit tjstearns.com for many valuable resources, including other great episodes of Chicagoland Retirement. Be sure to subscribe.
Securities offered through TJ Stearns, a registered representative of Crown Capital Securities LP, member FINRA SIPC. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature, not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.